Today, I am going to take the time to review one of the most inexpensive microscopes that I've actually been able to find, and you're going to be surprised at what kind of quality it actually delivers for a very inexpensive price. When it comes to coins and microscopes, really, we're after about the same thing. Everybody wants a microscope that's easy to use and that produces really good pictures. Now, I use two particular microscopes on my coin desk here, and the two that I use are pretty high end. The one I'm going to review today is actually a really inexpensive one that I found on Amazon. The two microscopes that I use personally myself are this large one here that's actually hooked up to its own separate microscope camera on the actual top of the microscope. And this little one right here, which is an all in one. It pretty much is just a microscope and doesn't have a camera attached to it. So both of these are actually connected to my computer and my monitor right here, and I run them through a software where I'm able to take pictures of individual coins. Now, this larger microscope is one that actually costs about $500, and it's kind of out of the reach for most people when it comes to just everyday coin collecting. The smaller one that I have here is one that I purchased, and I will leave the link for it in the description box below. But this particular one is under $200 and it takes amazing pictures as long as you're using the right software. The microscope that I'm going to review for you today was one that I dug up on Amazon for a measly $22.99. Now, at first thought, anyone would probably second guess this as being a microscope that's probably not going to do what you want it to do and probably won't give you the quality of pictures that you're after. But one of the things I've learned about microscopes is that you don't really have to spend a lot of money in order to get a microscope that will actually give you a good quality picture. One of the things that intrigued me the most about this particular microscope was the fact that, as you can see here in the picture, it shows that you can not only hook it up to your computer screen, but you can actually hook it up to your phone as well. Now, what I found the most interesting about that is I have seen a number of people at coin shows recently that have taken the time to actually bring in larger microscopes with bigger screens. And I thought, wouldn't it be a great idea if all you needed to take was a very small microscope and your phone to be able to get good pictures of coins that you're looking at while you're at a coin show? If you take a look at this particular picture, you'll notice that it says that you can plug this particular microscope in with a USB, a micro USB, and a Type C adapter, all of which are included with the microscope. The one downfall to this is if you have an iPhone or anything Mac related, you will need an adapter, which, by the way, isn't the least expensive thing that you can purchase, for about $40 in order to be able to plug this into an iPhone. Now that we've covered some of the basics of what you're going to need in order to get this thing operational, pretty much just buying the actual microscope itself. And again, if you have an Apple product, you're going to need to purchase one of those adapters. Let's go ahead and open up the actual microscope. This is what it comes in, which is a really nice little case. When I opened it up, I was relatively surprised at just how compact this little thing is. As you can see, you open it up, it's got the instructions on one side, it's got everything kind of held into place, the little adapter, and as well as the microscope itself in a little bungee strapped cord over on the side. And then in the little zip pocket underneath the instructions, you actually have the little USB-C adapter as well. So now that I have it all set up, it's kind of a nice little compact design. It's got the instruction manual here. It does have an actual small DVD drive, which is kind of interesting. I've actually never seen a disc this small that would go into a computer before. Obviously, it's got this adapter for the USB C. But the nice part about this is the fact that it's very, very compact and transportable, I guess, if you want to call it such. So if I want to take it out of this holder to be able to look at a coin over here on my desk, rather than pull the whole holder over, I can actually do that and then pretty easily put it right back in. Now, the one downfall to this that I can tell you is that this particular holder really isn't all that strong and it's made out of plastic, so it's probably not going to last that long. But for $22, what really more can you expect, I guess, right? Fun to note, however, that towards the end of the instruction manual, they actually have a area where you can get a discount on the steel metal holder that's very similar to the one that holds my small microscope that I use here. Now, I don't know what that actual discount is, but my guess is it's probably another $20 or so. But all in, if this were 22 and this were $20, I'm still under $50 for a pretty decent little microscope, provided that it actually gives me decent pictures. And that's what we're going to look at next. So as you can see, I actually do need to download some software in order to use this particular microscope. That software is obviously something that a lot of people have hesitation when it comes to downloading any particular software. So you have to be careful with that and judge it for yourself. If you have a different picture software that you can use, by all means, try and use that first. But if you want to use the software that came with the microscope, you have to go to this particular website up here. You'll scroll down a little ways. It'll tell you a little bit about the features and what all will work with each particular Windows operating system, and whether or not you're going to use it with a Windows operating system or a Mac operating system will mean you need to download the right software. So, this particular software here is what you would use for XP, Vista 7, 8, and 10. Down a little further is the software that you'll actually use if you have Windows 10 or 11. And a little further down, you'll actually find the software that you have to use if you're going to wind up using a Mac related software. So once you get to this particular point, you just simply click this link right here and it will download the software for you. Now, I've already clicked it, so I'm not going to double download it, but just follow the prompts once you get to that point. And if you have problems, I did note that the actual instructions that they gave you in the little pamphlet were very helpful in helping you set it up. So I've got this microscope in its little holder that came with it. And as you can see, this particular microscope does a pretty darn good job at being able to see everything up close, really nice. You can get a chance to see some of the die scratches that are in coins. You'd easily be able to see doubled dies, as well as repunched mint marks on coins, and even die cracks you'd be able to pick up pretty well with this particular little guy. Now, this is in the little holder that came with it, and it's a little cumbersome to move it around. You can see how it kind of shakes as I move it around. So, what I'm going to do here in a second is I'm actually going to move it to the same little holder that you can purchase for that extra 20 some dollars, and we're going to see if that makes a difference. So I decided not to put it in the little holder that I have because unfortunately it is quite a bit smaller than my microscope that I have. So it slid right through the holder, which really didn't do me any good. But what I did decide to do was take it out of its little holder and hold on to it and put it up next to a coin that I have that I know is a repunched mint mark. Now, this is a 1910 S over S. As you can see, there's actually a second S right above it. But the interesting part about this particular coin is it actually is a lamination error, and you can actually see the lamination that goes right across the date on this one, and yet it still left the date and the repunched mint mark in perfect shape. So there you go. This little microscope for $22.99 is a pretty nice microscope. We'll give it our final thumbs up in just a second here. As you can see, it's taken me pretty much all afternoon to make this video. The sun is setting behind me and it kind of looks real pretty coming through the window right there. So I'm going to leave you with this little bit of information. For $22.99 on Amazon, this particular little microscope does one heck of a job on up close pictures. Now, what I did notice is it does not take far away pictures. In other words, I can't get the full coin in the picture, but I'm not really worried about that because most of the time, what people are worried about with taking pictures or taking video or anything like that with a microscope is that they want to see the coin close up to begin with. And really, it does a pretty good job. I would probably have to give this microscope a good 3.5 to 4 stars out of 5 for its price and especially for the image quality that it produces. So hopefully you guys will pick up one, and if you do, let me know in the comments that you picked it up and what you thought of it once you actually got it. Now, I have not hooked this one up to my phone. I will save that maybe for another video and we'll see how it does with that. I will also leave an extra comment in the comments section below once I do that, and maybe put a link on this video to a new video showing how that turned out on my phone, because I'm actually pretty excited to be able to take this little coin microscope and my phone and take it to a show to be able to look at coins a little closer. It definitely makes a difference when you don't have to squint through a tiny little loop and you can actually see it on a screen. So, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, if you guys have learned anything or if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. That also helps as well. And don't forget to keep the notification bell on so that you get notifications when more videos become available. Thanks for watching, everybody. You guys have a good rest of your evening.